Welcome to Earth Radiance TV. I'm your host, Tammie Pike, and I'm so honoured to have you on this journey of self-love and self-discovery with me. I have created Earth Radiance TV as a remedy to combat women feeling alone in life, love, family, and business. Within this series, I will be interviewing women who are going against the normalcy of society and are living, loving, mothering, and doing business their own unique way. So get comfortable and give yourself permission to be inspired by the wisdom, love, learnings, and truth of each woman as she unfolds her journey with you. Welcome, beautiful, to Earth Radiance, a place for you to be real, be wild, and be you.
Welcome everyone to Earth Radiance TV. Today I am so honoured to have a woman who I have made a very special acquaintance with when I went down to Melbourne earlier this year. Her name is Nicol Hurd, and she is an amazing woman and so deep and just so beautiful, and I'm really excited to share what she does, her passion, her purpose, and how she brings her magic into the world. So thank you so much, Nicol, for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to spend this time with you.
Wonderful. So a little bit about Nicol. Nicol is best known as the Biz Bestie. Her strengths lie in supporting women solopreneurs in startup who want to align their purpose, niche, and messaging. She holds an array of credentials under her that which work alongside her unique abilities to lead with conviction and an admired down-to-earth approach. She has been running a business with her husband since 2002 and loyally supports her 3 children and many furbabies simultaneously. She describes herself as a courageous soul and someone who loves being her own boss alongside the highs, lows, and excitement that comes with being self-employed. So, wow, you really are such a divine woman. When I first met you, it was like the, stars had aligned and, just circumstances and synchronicities brought us together, and the fun that unfolded, which gave us time to delve into so many different areas of where we, things that are so in sync with each other. And it was just such an amazing time. And I'm so thankful that you've come on here to share your message, Nicol. So if we get started, I'd love for you to share what actually, I know you have businesses previous to what you do now. What made you want to do what you do?
There's a number of things that made me create Courageous You. One of them was different things that happened in our life, and that was from my husband having a heart attack to the car accident to us losing our son, and then our other son being involved in a boating accident. It became really important to me to show people that women are able to actually delve inside themselves and find the strength to achieve whatever they want to. I was able to face my deepest, darkest fears of losing a child and still rise above that and see the amazing life that is still out there, and to be able to help myself and my family. And I know that every woman has that in them to help themselves as well, to do whatever they want to achieve. It doesn't have to be a business, but there's something inside us that we want to achieve. And I think every woman has that possibility in them.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, you've gone through your own journey to still come out with that, passion to be helping others do what they love to do as well, which is startup. And I know starting up my own business, I went through my own journey, my own turmoil that led me to ignite this passion inside of me to want to help other women. And I think the thing is, it's letting go of the fear of starting a business. But also, would you love to share too, when we start up, we think we have to earn money straight away. We have to, be creating this thing that actually, instead of it letting it unfold and grow as we do, because it's the biggest personal development we can ever undertake running a business. But how do you support women when they're going through that mindset of, how do I make as much money as possible rather than letting it unfold with them?
It's really important. Thank you for touching on this. It's really important for women or startups, and especially I work with women, so I'm going to refer to women. But it's important to me that women know that they need to create a business from a purpose. And that purpose needs to align with their life, because then that way you can follow the journey of what unfolds. No, very few people are lucky enough to make money in startup.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. You're not unsuccessful if you're not making money. You're the only way you're going to be unsuccessful is if you're not living your life purpose. And it really, in startup, you really need to know and understand what that purpose is. So you make your decisions from that, and then you are always going to feel successful and keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's just so beautiful, because that's the thing, like, it's letting go of this need to achieve in such a linear way. Like, especially when you first start up, this is so different from just going to a job and getting an hourly rate. You have to grow the respect, you have to grow the rapport and the reputation for people to come and work with you. And that takes time, and it also takes for you to go on that journey of self-development, for where you feel completely whole in yourself to be able to provide this service in a confident and, you know, safe space for others, whether it is providing a service, doing energy healing, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You have to be able to hold that for yourself, truly shine in your business.
You have to acknowledge yourself as well. I think in the startup, we're offered so much information and often told in a very loving way that we should do everything this way or that way, and not necessarily has to be that way. We can still be unique and run our businesses and create a journey the way we want to. We can take information that can help us, but it's really important that you don't lose yourself in startup as well from listening to everyone else's advice.
Yeah, oh my goodness, I'm so glad you shared this, because I got stuck. I chose to be in there, because that seems like I'm the victim, but I chose to be in all these groups where every up, you know, full of anxiety, because I had to post in this group and I had to do this, and this is, they said for me to do business this way, so I'm trying to, you know, go against my own flow and doing, because I wasn't listening to myself, and I was sort of like scrabbling. And a lot of the time it felt like I was drowning within all these expectations of myself and what I thought I should be doing, rather than what actually felt good for me. Because this is what the biggest lesson for me has been, is learning what feels good for me in business. What actually feels good. It might not be having 20 clients a week. It might be having 5 really dedicated clients a week. And, you know, it's understanding how your flow works, so you can allow the startup phase to be very nourishing for you, but also so it's not where you're going to be staying the whole time, being focused on, you know, like you said, all these different inputs saying you need to be doing things this way. Don't you? What do you think about that?
Well, it comes from people telling you how much to charge, and when to post and where to post, and how long you should be in startup, and now you should be in growth period, and you should be, there's so many shoulds and coulds and woulds. But it's okay to say, no, that's not for me, thank you for your advice, and take some of it on. But it's really important that you go, okay, it's not everything is for me, and to take time. Startup isn't a race. You don't have to get through it. I understand that we all do need money, and I'm not taking away that the income's important. But to be successful, and to be successful in ourselves, we have to nourish ourselves and create that foundation that we're happy with. Otherwise, we'll burn out. And burnout happens when you're pushing yourself and doing stuff that's just not comfortable with you. And it's really important that we do take that time to,
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. And it's funny, like, the thing is, we can hear this and say, you know, don't push, don't force, because you lead to burnout. I heard that everywhere. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Push, 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 burnout. Oh my God. Like, you know, but we have to understand that we can either learn through pain or we can learn through joy. And the thing is, I'm not saying pain's going to be where you get, really badly hurt or anything like that. It's about understanding that how are you going to actually be aware of what's happening within your life, and how you can learn through different ways. So for me, I had to learn the hard way, which was learning through actually still pushing, not ignoring everyone else, ignoring my husband saying, you're doing too much, you're taking too much on. I'm going, no, I can do it all. But yet I wasn't looking after myself. And this is the misconception I think in this business world that you do have to push, but for a woman, and I think, you know, a connected woman that I feel that I am, I felt that, yeah, it went against everything of who I was. So it led me to that space where I had to learn, if I keep trying to push against who I truly am and push in a way that doesn't feel good, I'm going to keep ending up in this space that really I don't get to do anything. I can't do anything in my business. I'm not there for my family. I'm not there for my husband. I'm not there for myself. So this is the thing of finding that balance, isn't it?
It's definitely finding the balance and creating the boundaries of what you can and can't do, and being comfortable with those. I do business when my children are home because I can't give them 100% and my clients 100% at the same time, and I'm okay. So my hours are significantly shorter. I'm okay with that because that's the life I choose and that's what I'm comfortable with. It's okay to set those boundaries and go, I can't do it all, and or even that I want to do this or I don't want to do that. It's okay to do that, and people aren't going to not find you because you set those boundaries up. People are more likely to come and find you because you're the type of person they want to work with.
Yeah, definitely, like walking your talk. And that's what I'd love to talk about, because you're a mother, you're a wife. How do you, like, it's unique for everyone else, but I know you said you have really strong boundaries with your time, but when you're in startup phase, I find it, especially when I was in that space, very difficult to find balance, because I'm just wanting this business to grow and all that kind of thing. So I'm, you know, I'm social media, I'm doing all this work behind the scenes, and a lot of this time it's just stuff that isn't necessary, but I'm in that startup phase thinking, you know, I have to get this business happening, I have to get this money happening. But what is the boundaries, or what is it that you can actually do to find the balance in those spaces when you can't, you know, when you're in that startup phase?
Sometimes in startup we can't stop things for our family, but it's the way that you explain that to your children and your husband, and you become a role model that you're setting something up and creating it. So you are still actually parenting, because I'm very proud of what I do, and I do like to share what I'm doing with my children so that they understand that they too can create something when they want. If they want to create a business, they're able to. If my daughter wants to become the Prime Minister, she's able to see that what you've got to do is set out, do the work, enjoy the journey. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes we have pain, but it's those boundaries are also for your family, that they can actually see that you're creating something and they can also be proud of you.
That is so divine, and that's the biggest thing. And in that time, I guess, and when we're in that pushing phase, all we need to do is take a step back, breathe, and like ask yourself, like start really listening to yourself. Is this for me? If it is, then continue on with it. But then also in between that, it's like you said, taking responsibility and nourishing yourself in ways that's going to help you to continue on doing the work that you're doing. How do you incorporate that into your life? Because I know you're an amazing coach, you're on Facebook, you do all that. How do you nourish yourself by, you know, to keep yourself and your cup full, I guess?
One of the things I do is always check in with my values. Like, am I ticking off, is this, you know, one of my values are family, love, and being authentic. So, and creating trust. So if and loyalty. So if I'm not ticking those values off, then I'm not looking after myself, because I truly do need to live those things to be happy. The other thing I do is I will sit down and listen to a book, take the time just for myself, listen to the book. I've recently, since I've met you, every Sunday I do take the time to self-care kit, to have a bath and just take that time and use all the affirmations just for myself to reset myself for the week. Sometimes it's just sitting down with my family and playing a board game. Depends what I need at the time and what I need to fill my cup, because setting something all the time doesn't necessarily mean it's for you at that time. So it's being aware of what I need and what I can do to help myself.
Oh, that is just so divine and so full of wisdom. And I think that's the thing is, again, you know, every week you might say that this day is for a meditation, this day is for that. But again, if that's not suiting us for what our needs are, it can't actually fill up our cup because we're just doing something for the sake of doing something. And it's not aligned, like you said, because you're all about aligning your business and your values together and with your messaging and all that. So even in your self-care and self-love, like you said, it's aligning everything. And I love that you said that, because it's bringing awareness that it's not just about fitting something in, it's actually checking in. What do I need in this moment? What do I need to support me? So that is such a really key piece of wisdom. And what I love is in this series that I'm doing with you amazing women like you, is the key component that's coming through, which the theme is values. So I guess that's the thing what I'd like to touch on. What do you describe as values, and how would someone is that what you go through, is what is someone's values and how they can incorporate that as their core foundations for their business?
Yeah, I absolutely, with anyone in startup, would recommend that they check into their values. And it's just as simple as writing down what's important to you, and then going through, is that actually, is it a need or is it a want? Because it is like, I need love in my life. I need my family. I wouldn't breathe without those in them. I need loyalty around me. Their needs. Do I want, or there's that, do I want some stuff? Or sure, sure, I want generosity and all of that, but I can breathe without it. So a value is actually going back to yourself and knowing what you need in your life, and having 3 or 4 of them that you can check in all the time and say, is this still what I need, is really important. And values can change. They don't change as much as our wants.
Yeah. And I guess this is the thing to creating your foundation. And I think, one thing that if we don't have it, our foundations will keep crumbling until we create them, because we're not sure what is anchoring us into our direction of where we're taking our business, because we're going, oh, it's just something I want to do. But hang on a minute. Are you just saying yes because you think it will create a certain outcome, or is it actually aligned with what you truly desire and want and need with your values? So I really love that, because it's like that anchor, isn't it?
It really is. And it's okay to set, I think knowing your values and knowing your life purpose actually gives you an out, because a lot of people start businesses because it's exciting and it's exhilarating, and they've had a hobby and everyone's like, you should do this and all of that. And sometimes it's not for everybody. But if you don't have a successful business or decide to change your mind, as long as you're still living those values and life purpose, it's okay. Doesn't mean that you're not successful. It's okay not to create a business or continue past startup if it's not for you, because you're checking in with those values and life purpose. Doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you're making another choice.
Oh, I love that so much, because I was talking to someone the other day about it. It's funny how when we choose to do something, we think, we do that victim thing. I chose to do it. I have to do it, even though it feels really crap, not aligned. Because I chose to do it and I invested all this money, it means that's the path I have to take. But like you said, that really resonates deeply with me, and I've come to really embody, is it's about the destination. So if your journey changes direction, that's okay. And I love that you bring this up so beautifully, because we really have to acknowledge, if something you're doing right now, say it's whether it's your own business, MLM, whatever kind of way you're stepping up in the world, if it doesn't feel good, you can step back and go, well, what actually feels good for me? Which direction do I truly want to take? And like you said, once you have those values, you can realign, I guess, and then find that new direction, and knowing you haven't failed, because you've learned so much in your journey that you can then explore other avenues, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you'll meet a lot of women, especially in the online space, and their goal is to empower women, which we all so want to do. And often they will change their mind or whatever, and they feel that they've failed. That's not the case, because you can empower women by simply being a great role model at what you do, and saying, look, these are the choices I've made. That is empowering women. Showing up, supporting other women is empowering women. So I really want us as women to actually empower each other by supporting our choices and understanding that you still are empowering women and yourself by just accepting what you want to do and need to do.
Yeah, and I think that really ties into then looking at why you're doing what you're doing. If it doesn't feel good, it's because your husband might say something, or, you know, you have people around you who might go, oh, well, she failed. Like, you know, it's letting go of the need for that approval or caring of that judgment, because if you're doing something that doesn't feel good for you every single day, you're only stopping yourself and limiting yourself from actually truly experiencing life, love, joy, and fulfillment, because you're doing something based on external judgments and people and influences. And I think when we're doing that, we're totally out of alignment. We cannot experience our fullness or our full potential because we're stuck and we're limited in that space, and we're not living our life for us, are we?
Yeah, if I had a magic power, I would give everybody the gift of self-validation, because I'm so much more powerful when we can validate ourselves and not look externally. So it would be lovely to go, okay, you know, get my magic wand out and say we all have self-validation. And we have to remember that people who don't validate it, it's often coming from their own fears or their own scarcity. So it's something that we really need to back away from and look inside ourselves and, you know, tick off those values, the life purpose. Is it what we want to do? And validate ourselves from that.
Yeah, and I guess, like, especially if that women are watching this and they're in that startup phase or wanting to start a business, I think it's so important to understand, usually if you're the first one within your network or, you know, circle of influence that you are doing it, you're going to receive a lot of push and pull of people wanting you not to do it because they're going to say it's too hard, you shouldn't be doing it, you know, all these kind of things. And understanding that, especially for me, business and doing my sole purpose has shifted me and my mindset from that closed-minded 9-to-5 kind of lifestyle to really being expansive, open-minded, open-hearted. And also means that my environment has shifted. It means that I now have way more supportive people who are aligned with what I am. It's not meaning those people were bad, but they just couldn't, they're not in the space to support another person in shining. Like you said, you know, they put their own fears and negative thoughts about themselves, they project them. And I really want to, I think, yeah, it's coming through that's so strong to let you know that the way that you succeed in this is by having that support team, by making sure you are connecting. And I think this is why I love coaching so much and having coaches, because having someone like you to support another woman through that startup phase is going to be so powerful, because she has someone in her side going, yes, you can do this, you can do anything, but let's get you grounded, let's get you aligned, let's get your values. And you have that support and that guidance, don't you?
To create a foundation of it's what you want to do, and we learn, like I work with my clients to learn what they want to do and their actual umbrella of what they want to bring to the world. It's really important. And as much as Facebook becomes overwhelming and the online space becomes overwhelming, I am so grateful for the people I've met from being online, because it really has opened up the network for me of living with different thoughts, you know, living in a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset, because the people around me don't necessarily understand that I actually want to live in this happy, you know, utopia, you know, that we all have, you know, that the world is good, you know, and the online has given that to me. So I actually, like you, want to give that to other people.
Yeah, amazing. And I guess what I'd love to really focus on at the moment is, how do you do this? How do you support someone in startup phase? What is your process?
First of all, we talk about your values and purpose. It's really important for me to understand your life purpose, so I'm not sending you off doing something that just doesn't align with you, because it's you're never going to like it, and you're not going to be successful if you're not living your purpose and value. Then we do actually go and work on who you do, you know, what is it you want to do? Who do you want to help? What is not necessarily the ideal client, but what is your ideal fix? You know, what is the solution you want to give to your clients? Because often people think that niching or stuff like that is limiting you. I want you to grow and become an expert in who you help and the problem you help. And even though the word problem kind of has a negative association to it, unfortunately, we don't have a better word at the moment. So we work with words like heal, support, create, all of those awesome words. But, we do actually need to know who you are going to help and how you're going to help them. And that actually becomes not about yourself. So first of all, I call it ego. We work on yourself and create you. Then we work on purely what your client needs are. So we forget about ourselves for a little moment and work out what our client needs are, what they're thinking, how they're feeling. And then we move on to merge the two and see how you can go out into the world.
Yeah, amazing. And then I feel for me too, I can never just do one coaching session with my coach. Like, it's always been ongoing. I think from every coach I've had, it's either been 4 to 6 months every single time, because I think, to have a one-off is just never enough. That's just the, introduction to it all. It's just getting you in, in line, I guess, with, like you said, the values and all that kind of stuff. But it's an ongoing nurturing process. And I know a lot of women in startup really, they're worried about money and all that kind of stuff. But if there's any chance that you can have that money to seek that support, I think it's priceless, because it's the difference between you struggling on your own through this, for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, because sometimes it's so hard to get our startup phase, especially with that mindset. But by having that support, that continuous support every week, fortnight, month, whatever it is that you choose, you have that inspiration, you have that safe space to keep being activated to move forward in a way that feels good for you, because you're guided by someone who's already walking their talk and doing the work. So it's a lot easier for you to learn from what they know, as well as the wisdom that you have within you, because that's what coaching is all about, isn't it? Like using their own knowledge.
Look, my model is that I don't actually do coaching packages, because as you said, with startup, money can be tight. So I work on a 90-minute thing, so we try and pack in as much as we can to give you value. But also I am about to launch Biz Buddies, which is a startup membership, which is at a local, that actually does a mastermind. So it's a minimum of 10 people in your mastermind, but you meet monthly, you get to talk, and we do stuff like that. So it's a co-working thing, but I been very mindful of how much we have at startup in this, and I'm very mindful of that with what I offer in coaching packages. So I do set out not to set you up with a package, because I do think that you need to come back to me and we need to create that relationship. So I do 90-minute sessions and pack them in and then wait for you to come back.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and I think it's the actual thing too of commitment. How committed are you to growing your business? And I know for me too, I was always like, oh, I can only afford this, this, and this. But then once I started seeing the results, I was like, I can't not afford to do this. Like, it's just the difference in myself and the growth in my business has been substantial. And I also, like, when my husband used to go, oh my God, you're spending all this money. I'm like, if I went to university to get a degree, how much would that cost? And I know you wouldn't say anything against it, but I don't want to get a degree. I want to do business. And that's a different way of learning. I still have to invest in different ways. And it might mean, business that, that could take, 5 to 10 years to really grow, because it's, its own startup. I mean, it's a completely unique concept, but it's a thing of having that support to grow it to a space that I can cope with each year. And each year I evolve more, and so does my business. And I think it has been greatly to the support of the women that I've had in my life supporting me in growing that. So how can people work with you, Nicol?
They can work with me online via Zoom. I'm sure that you're going to pop the links up with there, but yeah. Please find me on my Facebook page, Courageous You, or I have the Biz Buddies group on Facebook as well that you can connect with me daily. But I'd love to work with anybody in startup who wants a little bit more support. We do actually create programs around yourself, so they're not set up they're not the cookie cutter type, because I actually really do think it's important that we create the journey around yourself. And
yeah, amazing.
Is also up to your journey.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing your magic today. Like, you are such a divine woman, and I can't stress enough to everyone who's watching. Like, I got to spend a whole afternoon with Nicole, which was amazing. It was so funny. That's another story, I think, and another session. But she is just so passionate about helping women just truly shine in their business. And it's like coming home to a big, beautiful hug and love and support every time that I connect with Nicole. So I reckon if you are in that space of startup and you're struggling, reach out to Nicole, because she really is an amazing woman. And I don't think you could ever go wrong with seeking her support or investing in yourself with her sessions. So thank you so much, Nicole, for being here. And I can't wait till next time.
I love connecting with you, and thank you for having me. And look, as you said, do take the time to invest in yourself, because you are worth it.
So good. Thank you so much, everyone, for being present here today and for watching another episode of Earth Radiance TV. And be sure to click on the links and to find out more information about Nicole. We look forward to talking to you again next time. Sending you all so much love. Bye.